Hey guys, it's Kelly, welcome back to my channel. Honestly, I kind of suck at readathons because I'm a total mood reader and I'm really bad at sticking to a TBR. When I saw the announcement video for the Magical Readathon earlier this year, I was really excited though. The first part of that readathon, the Owls in April, was the first time that I was really successful in a readathon, and I read 12 books that month, which is more than I've ever read before. I read a lot, but I'm a really slow reader, so I was really proud to have read that many books in 1 month. And I'm honestly not sure if I would have been able to do it if it wasn't for the Owls readathon motivating me. I've been looking forward to the second part of that readathon, the N.E.W.T.s, pretty much ever since, and it's finally taking place in August. Honestly, the Magical Readathon is pretty complicated, and I don't think I'll do it any justice if I try to explain it myself, so I'll link the announcement video down below. Even though it's a Harry Potter based readathon, you don't actually have to read any of the Harry Potter books. This part of the readathon, the N.E.W.T.s, is named after the test that they take in Harry Potter. N.E.W.T. stands for Nastily Exhausting Wizarding Test. For this readathon, there are different classes, such as divination and potions, and there are prompts for each of the classes, and you have to finish certain prompts in order to pursue a certain career. Depending on the career, for some classes you only need an A, which means acceptable, and you only have to finish 1 prompt for that. For others, you have to finish 2 prompts to get an E, which is exceeding expectations, and for others, you have to get an O, which stands for outstanding and requires finishing 3 prompts. I want to be a curse breaker, which means that I need an O in ancient ruins, an O in arithmancy, an E in defense against the dark arts, and an A in charms. So now I'm going to go through each of the prompts and say which books I selected for each one. So the first class is Ancient Ruins. The first prompt is to read a book recommended by a friend, and for that one I'm going with All Our Broken Pieces by L.D. Crichton. Some of my blogging friends and I are doing an annotated book swap, and it's my turn to read this one, so my friend Amanda just sent me this one, and I'm going to count that as a read recommended by a friend. The second prompt is a book written in past tense, and for that one I'm going by Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I'm actually doing a read-along with one of my friends on Twitter for this series later in August and the beginning of September, leading up to the release of the 4th book. So I thought that this would be a perfect way to fit it into the readathon. And so for the third prompt, which is reading a book that's been on your TBR for ages, I chose the sequel, which is Hunting Prince Dracula. For arithmancy, the first prompt is to read a book that ends on an even page number. For that one, I'm going with Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I was really lucky to get an arc of this at Epic Reads Day a couple of weeks ago, and I'm so excited to read it. Luckily, it has 514 pages, so it'll be perfect for this prompt. The second prompt for arithmancy is to read a standalone, and for that I have 2 possibilities in mind. The first one is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was considering reading this one because there's a Taylor Jenkins read-along that's going on Twitter, and I'll link that down below. This is their book for August, so I'd like to fit it into the readathon if possible. My other option is Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty. Honestly, I really want to watch this show, but I'm the type of person who needs to read the book first, so I just want to read this as soon as possible so I can start watching. I'm going through the prompts in order of subject, so this is going to be a little out of order. The third prompt for arithmancy is to read a book that's longer than 350 pages, and for that one I'm going with God's Grave by Jay Kristoff. This is the sequel to Nevernight, which I'll be talking about in just a second, but this one is 419 pages, so it fits this prompt. The next subject is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and for that one I need to finish 2 prompts. The first one is to read a book that's black under the dust jacket, and for that one I'm going with To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I meant to read this last summer, but I'm really excited to be finally getting to it, and as you can see, it also fits the prompt. The second prompt for Defense Against the Dark Arts is to read a book that you remember just now from your TBR, and when I was making this list, the first one I remembered was Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in this series, and God's Grave, the book I showed before, is the sequel, but I wanted to read these leading up to the release of the 3rd book, Dark Dawn. The final subject is Charms, and for that one I only have to finish 1 prompt, which is to read a book with a gorgeous cover, and for that one I'm going with Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. I really love the colors on this cover, and so I definitely think it's one of the prettiest ones that I've acquired recently. This is an arc that I was lucky to grab at BookCon of a book that comes out in October, and I'm just really excited to read it as soon as possible, so I thought I'd fit it into the readathon this month. So those are all the books that I'm reading for the N.E.W.T.s readathon this August. I'm really hoping I'll do as well as I did for the Owls in April, so wish me luck. Thanks for watching this video, and please feel free to like and subscribe. Bye!